What's going on, Grappler fans? I've had a few people asking me, what do I do to balance these bigger tires and wheels? These are 24x14 Moto forged on 40x1550 Trail Grapplers. And long story short, I don't, or at least I haven't yet. I don't have any weights, sticky weights, or any bags or beads or whatever inside these tires. I haven't touched them at all. They got mounted, and that was it. Tire on the rim on the truck, put air in it, like no weights on this thing. And I got 20,000 miles on them like that, and I'm just now starting to notice that they're not balanced. They were like perfectly balanced right out of the box in my experience. It's probably not recommended. Obviously you should balance your wheels and tires, but I just kind of want to show you guys what has happened now. 2 years later, I've rotated them a couple times, not as much as I should have, and it's finally starting to show me that they're not balanced. And I kind of did this as a test, but also the only place I could find in Wilmington, North Carolina to mount these tires on these bigger wheels wanted a ridiculous amount of money to balance them, and I was like, they're forged wheels and Nittos, they can't be that out of whack, so let me try it out. And yeah, like I said, I had no issues for the longest time, but I'm about to head to work. I'll go ahead and show y'all why they're balancing or out of balance a little bit now. So pretty much I put 15,000 miles on these tires without touching them. I didn't rotate them, put air in them, anything. They didn't need any attention. They should have been rotated, of course, that's just proper maintenance, but did not rotate them. Then at 15,000 miles, they started to get a little shake in my steering wheel, a little bit, at 50 miles an hour. So I went ahead and rotated them, and it fixed it immediately, and I had no issues after that. Let me go ahead and get the GoPro set up here in a better spot. So I didn't touch them until 15,000 miles. They started to make my steering wheel shake slightly, just from the front end wearing from turning constantly, and just, you know, driving this thing for 15,000 miles. Your tires are going to need to be rotated and balanced. Well, at 15,000 miles, my steering wheel started to shake. Rotated the tires, totally fixed it. I had no issues. The steering wheel was perfectly straight on up to 100 miles an hour, or whatever, however fast I wanted to go. I didn't feel anything. Still with no weights in the tires or any way of balancing it. It kind of evened itself out. Well, then I took these wheels and tires off my truck, and some of y'all know I put the factory 20-inch King Ranch wheels and 40x1550 mud grapplers and 2-inch spacers on here. I was planning on leaving that up until, man, I pulled out in front of somebody. So I was going to leave that on the truck until I put my new 42-inch Trail Grapplers for a 26-inch wheel on here. Well, if you're paying attention to the channel and you've subscribed, you know I'm not getting them yet because I wanted to get these Moto Metals again, and they quit making them. They actually, Wheel Pros owns Moto Metal. They bought American Force. Some of y'all already know that, but basically they don't need to compete with American Force anymore because they own them. So I can't get these wheels that I wanted for the price I wanted, so I'm going to wait a little bit longer and just put these on for now. Well, I took them off without paying attention to which one was where. I didn't know driver front, you know, passenger rear. Like, I didn't pay attention to which one was where, so I could rotate them because they weren't going to go back on the truck. Well, I decided to put them back on, and I just kind of threw them on randomly without really being able to tell which one came off of where. And as you're about to see, that has caused some balancing issues, just because there's uneven tire wear in the different spots, and there's a dump truck in front of me, so I'm not going to be able to go fast enough to even make this happen, but let's see what we can do about that. You can it's actually kind of shaking a little bit already. You might hear my voice. Some of it's just bumps in the road, but it's just a little funky, and that's because their tires aren't balanced, and they should be. I'm not going to get too close to this truck because I don't want to get rock chip my windshield here. But this might be one of my buddies from the dirt pit that lets me go in there and drive around and take pictures. I don't know, so I don't want to make him mad either. Alright, I think old boy is speeding up a little bit, so I'm going to go a little faster and see if you can tell. It's probably shaking the camera too, but it's just a little bit out of whack. You can tell it's not balanced. I think I might have an opportunity to pass this guy real quick. Let's see. Yeah, probably not worth it. The truck's not really warmed up yet completely. I already had to get on it one time. We're going to just keep cruising here. This looks like a better gap though. Let's try this out. My bag's shaking. You can hear everything shaking in here. My tires are not balanced right. And it's honestly not as much in the steering wheel as I thought. Probably because of the dual Fox steering stabilizers are just not really letting it shake my steering wheel, but it is putting a weird vibration in the whole truck. And really, besides just rotating them the right way and maybe figuring out which one was where, if I could tell by looking at the tires, the only thing I can really do is get them balanced. And I'm not really trying to put a ton of weight on these wheels because it just looks funny to me having weights on them, even the sticky weights that are in the back. I think the best bet is to throw the bags in them, which is what I have on my mud wraps. I haven't had any bounce issues with those, but I also hear that doesn't do anything. So let me know what y'all think. Do you think that the little bag of beads that you can throw in your wheels to make these tires bounce, and it's shaking pretty good here, well, there's a couple bumps too. Do you think those do anything? Is it worth trying to do that? Or should I just try to figure out my rotation and make these things happy again? Because they were fine when I took them off the truck. They're just in a different spot now. And I'm also going to show y'all my wife's car, because I did it with this truck and it had such good results, had no issues. I ended up mounting her tires myself, her Trail Grapplers, and I didn't put any weights on those either. And that's been 20,000 miles ago as well. I just rotated them and experienced the same issue I'm having with this truck, and I got those balanced. So I've got some clips of that. So I just rotated these tires. They have not been balanced since they were new. Didn't have any issues with the balance without any weights right from the get-go, and I haven't had any issues up until now. The second time that I've rotated them, I'm starting to get a little bit of shaking in the steering wheel from the tires not being balanced. So they've got about 20,000 miles on them. I think we put them on at 167,000 miles on this car. We're now at 187. And they've been rotated twice in that time period, and you can start to see the shaking as you get up above 55. Finally got the tires balanced on this old girl. It, like I said, has 20,000 miles on these tires, and I had no issues. Rotated them once, no problem. But now the second time I've rotated them, I finally, I believe, need the tires balanced. So we're doing the first drive here. We'll see if the steering wheel's shaking or anything like it was just a few moments ago when they weren't balanced yet. There's a little more traffic now, so it's harder to get up to speed, but I mainly noticed it last night when we were going about 70, 80. It was really really aggressive vibrations with the steering wheel. So I decided to go ahead and balance them. I didn't balance these tires just kind of to test what would happen, honestly. I mounted them myself and didn't have a balance machine at my disposal, so I decided to just go ahead and run them and just see how true they were. This thing's driving straight, not shaking at all now. I think balancing it, was a quick 25 bucks, and got this thing going down the road without shaking. And I'm ready for the next trip up to North Carolina, 12-hour drive. This thing's done it probably 8 times now. We just got back from Thanksgiving, going up for Christmas. So this is our little grocery getter. We put miles on and try to take care of it. Keep up with the maintenance on it. And balancing is just one of those simple things you don't think about. And it's not the end of the world if you don't do it, but if you've got older tires or a less quality tire, you're definitely going to notice it. And you can see these trail graps after 20,000 miles without being balanced. You start to feel a little something just from the way they wear on the front of the car, turning and everything. And then you change the position where they're at on the vehicle, you just get a little bit of vibration unless you get them balanced. So that kind of sums that up. I'll try to see if I can get a clip going a little bit faster. And of course, show the truck and what I'm experiencing on it. Seems to be doing a lot better now at speed, highway speed, cruising, no hands on the wheel, very minimal play or shaking. Now that the tires are balanced, made a big difference, and I think she's ready to go on the trip. Long story short, if you don't balance your tires, you're probably going to notice it, whether it's immediately or down the road. Obviously, it's something that you should do. I did this as an experiment, and because I was being cheap at the time, and I already had spent so much money on my engine replacement. I already got the wheels and tires and the lift and everything, and I was just pinching pennies trying to get it all together. I ended up not balancing it, and I had no negative side effects for 2 years. Had no issues. Tires seem balanced. They're finally now starting to complain a little bit about it. So I hope this helps y'all. Long story short, balance your tires. But if you don't, this is what could happen. A good true tire like a Nitto might not notice anything until it starts to wear some. And if you rotate them regularly, like you should probably rotate these tires 3,000-4,000 miles. I waited 15,000 miles before I rotated these things, and obviously the tires aren't happy. It's a big truck, heavy, this wide setup. It's going to wear a little funky, and if you rotate it, it'll prevent so many issues. And keeping them balanced will help make everything last longer because you're not shaking your truck to death. But there's my little experiment. It took me 20,000 miles to notice anything. I've been waiting to make this video, and the truck just has not wanted to shake. But it finally started shaking once I took these wheels off and then put them back on in a random order. So that's my 2 cents on balancing your tires. I appreciate y'all for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't already checked out the Grapplaholics Instagram. That's where I put out most of my content, and tons of trucks there. If you got questions about lift kits, wheels, tires, whatever, I'm always willing to get back to a DM, or feel free to comment on any of the pictures on Grapplaholics. I keep up with all the newer ones pretty well, and thanks so much for watching.